morning, everybody. Today is class 18 for CAD 212 on Monday, November 8th. I'm recording this class because I have a conflict that I could not reschedule. So just recording this class for you. What we're going to be going over in class is the CDs phase. What does that mean? We are moving into construction documents. We did our schematic design phase. We did our design development. Now we move into what could be considered one of the most important phases is construction documents. Because not only if you have a great design, if you don't translate that onto your sheets, it's not going to help anybody. Somebody needs to be able to read your sheets really clearly and have all that information. So it takes a long time to get our construction documents put together. As it says here, it builds upon the design development work by producing plans, drawings, and specifications needed to price and build the project. So we're going to be concentrating on getting all of our design work done during this time period, and then also moving towards getting our class finished and our project finished as well. Let me jump ahead to some important dates. On Monday, November 29th, your final project is due by noon. And on Wednesday, December 1st is the final exam, and that will start at 9 a.m. We'll be prepping for that between now and then and reviewing some stuff along the way, but just keep these dates in mind. For today in class, we're going to talk about review sheet list for your final project, go over that. In Revit, we're going to learn how to do tags for doors, windows, rooms. For rooms, there's going to be some additional room separator and tag information on that as well. We're going to talk about room schedules and sheet lists. Also, some of this stuff may be a repeat of the things that we did in the last project. Always good to review and get those refreshed into your mind. But we're going to go over this today. So let's go ahead and jump into everything. This review sheet list for your final project will also give you a refresher of what we're looking for obviously the final project and the final exam with the stuff that we review there. You'll find this information on Canvas, so we'll jump there. On Canvas, you'll find that under final project. CAD 212 final project sheet list. We're all going to be using sheet E1, which is 30 by 42. For the final project, the renovation model is everything that you're going to be creating your sheets in. For your final project, when you turn everything in, you're going to turn in your original Revit file, but you don't need to create any sheets in that file. You just need to create sheets in your renovation file. So title sheet, G102, which should include a vicinity map, table of contents, and the schedules. We'll talk about that a little later. Site plan, floor plan, first, second, third floor plan. If you've got more than third floor, a couple of you have some higher floors, we'll add those as well. So if you have a fourth floor, A204, etc. We're going to do all building elevations. So we could probably put those all on one sheet, but depending on how everything is laid out on yours, we may just do 2 and 2. I'm going to let you decide that, but you may be able, since the sheet is big enough, get away with all 4 on one sheet. But I'll leave that up to y'all to decide. You figure out what works best. Excuse me. A321, we're going to do 4 different section views, parts that's really going to highlight the interest in your building. So we'll do that. And then also we'll have a 801 section, which will include interiors. It will include your first floor plan of your furniture layout that you created. We're going to get to this later, how to create a usage plan and a color scheme. And then we'll also include in your interior section multiple renderings, at least 2 regular renderings, 2 camera renderings, and interior views. So what I mean by regular renderings, it's just the typical one that you use. You just align it and render it, and obviously the camera one is the one with using the camera. Pretty straightforward there. So that's your list of sheets. Always refer back to that here in final project information. I think that'll help you out a lot. Also, when we're going through and reviewing everything, if you go back to fall 2021 in Revit review and you open up this file, this is going to go over everything that we have done this semester. So you can kind of go through here, see what you're very familiar with, mark off something that you have a question about, mark off something that you don't remember. You have plenty of time. You've got a couple weeks before now in the final to figure that out and get back to me, and then we can review that for you. A couple of things we haven't done yet, because we are still going to do them, include room separators, room areas, color scheme legend. Some of that stuff we haven't done yet, but we will. So please keep reviewing this. And it's also a good way to keep track of everything that you've learned in class as well. All right, let me close that up. Let's see, go back to class day. Okay, so jumping into the Revit part, we're going to talk about tags. We're going to do that first. Let me open up. I've just got this little building I quickly sketched just to show you how to do some tags in it. And then I'm going to run through a couple of examples of student work just to do a couple of little tweaks, give a little advice, and then we can kind of go from there. If anytime after this, after you watch this video, if you're not comfortable with anything, remember you can always text me, and happy to help you along that during that time period. So first thing we're going to do is, I don't need this one anymore. First thing we're going to do is our door and window tags. So in order to do those, we want to go to our annotate tab. And then in our tag panel, you'll notice tag by category or tag all. The difference is when we do tag by category, when we come in and we pick something, it's going to pick what we want it to tag. This is a wall tag, and if we had different wall types and things like that, such as fire rated walls or different things, we've used that, but we're not going to use the wall tag. We are going to use the window tags. And you can just drop them along here. Notice when I came to this window, that changed because these different windows are assigned a number for their specific type of window. So, you know, these are all the same type of window. This window is type 17. That's just laid in there with Revit. And this one is type 17 as well. So when we go back to these other ones, these are different windows over here as well that I have. This is number 9. And notice on this particular tag, when I drop that in, notice where it's going. All these went on the outside of the building. This one's going on the outside of the building. This one and this one are jumping on the inside of the building. That's because these windows are backwards. They're inside out. And I'm still catching that a lot on some of your work. And hopefully by doing this exercise as well, this will help you catch these as well. So when you come back here and you're on that window, and you can just flip that window back to the direction it's supposed to be, and you can go back and re-tag it, or you can just move the direction of the tag. So if you didn't want to change the numbers, if you caught that, you could change the numbers if this was a specific number that you wanted it assigned to. But we're just going to leave with the default right now. So I'm just going to move that out. So it's here. And move this one out. So it's here. So those are all lined up better. Delete that extra one. So we're going to do the same thing with our doors. I'm going to continue tag by category. I could continue to have done the doors at the same time, but I was just showing you the different ones as we went along. So the same thing with doors. We're just going to come over here. And notice how those came out, as those were numbered as I was going around. They don't come out by the type of door. That'll be in our schedule that we determine it. But it comes out, they get laid out by the way, in the order that you actually put them in your building, in your Revit model. If I wanted to switch those up, I could double click on that. I could switch those up. I can make that more information there, but we'll just leave those as how they've come out on here as well. So that's how you do tag by category. If you noticed over here, there's also a tag by all, which is very similar. Let's see what the difference is between that. Let me undo all of this. And I'll undo all the tags. I'm going to go back and flip these into place so I don't have that same issue when I come back around next time. All right, all that's good. So to tag by all, you're going to click on that tool, and that's going to pop up all these different tags that you can choose from. So if we just scroll through here, these are all the tags that we can choose from that populate. We know the only thing that we want right now is door tags and window tags. And we do want a leader attached to them. So let's hit OK. And notice they automatically just populate for you. So it's still going to be the same numbers for the windows, the different types of windows, still going to be in the order in which these doors were inserted into your model. So we'll just leave that as is, because all that information is correct. Sometimes as we're starting to lay out this, starting to put things on sheets, we may start moving some of these leaders around because they'll intersect some of our dimensions and things like that. So just think about that as you're going through, and we can change those once we start laying out our dimensions, but these are adjustable. If we did want to move this, we can move that to here. I actually kind of like it in the doorway a little bit more because it's just one less line that's laying out there to confuse us. So I just kind of move these. So instead of having that leader on these, it's just the symbol, and it just one less thing, something else to make it a little bit cleaner on your drawing. Anything else to make it easier to read is always good. All right, what's next? Rooms. All right, we're going to do room tags and room separators. All right, I'll jump into that. For room tags, we're going to jump to our architecture tab. Architecture tab, room and area panel, and our room tool. So we're going to click on room tool, and it's automatically going to define the space. Notice how it comes in here, and it'll just click here. And these will be laid out in numeric order depending on the way that you lay them in. Notice when I put this one in here, it takes up that entire space, but maybe I don't want that entire space to be one room. Maybe I actually want to show that this part of the room is different from this part of the room, that it's a different room section. I can split this room up without putting a wall here to show that this would be maybe like a gym area, and this would be like bleachers or something like that, but we want to have it just kind of laid out like that. In order to do that, you want to use your room separator. Room separator tool is located in architecture tab, room and area panel, room separator tool right next to the room tool. We're going to click on that one. And that's just drawing a line on your floor plan for when we come back with our room tool. It's going to show that this is one area and this is another area, which is pretty nice how you want things laid out. Now, you can change these numbers if you want specific numbers in your buildings. I think some of you have already started laying those out in text form, but you can hide that. You can actually delete that text that you've added in there and start going back with this room information, the room tags. So if I wanted that room 101, and say if I wanted this to be office, call it 102B is this main section here. We'll call 102A. Oh, look at that. All right, there we go. Oops, click too far. Remember, if you click too far, you can jump into a family for editing. You can just close that out. No, we don't want to change anything. We'll come back here. I'm going to change that number. Oh, did it again. All right, thank you. I'm going to change that to 103. So now we have our office space, our bleachers, our gym, and our locker room, all with our different numbers on here. So what's also cool about this too is when we're adding this information for our tags, if you click on the tag and you go over to your properties and you go into edit type, here we can also add show volume, the volume of the room, or show area. So let's go ahead and click on show area and hit OK. And now it also gives us the square feet, which can be very helpful. So that's another cool tool. So when you're laying this out, I also want you to include the area when you're creating your room tags, because we're going to, for our room schedules, list everything by number, name, and area. So let's jump into creating room schedules next. To do that, we're going to jump into our View tab. And we're going to go to our schedule tool, schedules and quantities. Remember, here's where we're going to pick what type of schedule we're going to make. We have all these different options, but for this time, we're just going to make a room schedule. We'll double click. And I said, let's say number, name, and area. So we'll go by number, name, and area. If you do bring those in the wrong order, remember you can use these directional arrows on the bottom to rearrange the order in which you want them to be in. But let's have everything by number, name, and area. Let's hit OK. And so we have our beginnings of our room schedule. Here we have our number. It's room number 101. And its office, we have 103 and 102 A and B. So those are backwards. So those backwards. Need to take a look at that and why those are backwards. So we have our square feet here, locker room size, bleacher size, gym size. So we have all that laid out there. For our room schedule. So room schedule is pretty straightforward except for this part, and we'll revisit that on Wednesday. Let's see, what's next? Next, we're just going to do sheets. We've done sheets before, just a repeat of the other stuff, repeat of exactly pretty much what we just did there. But we'll go ahead and jump into level 1. We'll go to our View tab, Create Panel, Schedule tool, drop down, sheet list. And with our sheet list, we're just going to go by sheet number and sheet name. And I actually haven't started creating any sheets yet. So when I hit OK, it's not going to show anything. It's just going to show the beginning of my sheet information. But that's okay, because remember, as you start adding all those sheets that we're going to be working on, they're going to start populating in this sheet list. That's just a quick refresher on how to do that. Let's see. And that's pretty much it for what we have for class today. Your goal should be is to get all these tags started laid out, get your design work done and finished, start laying out your tags, start laying out your sheets, creating those, and then we'll revisit this on Wednesday. So let me jump into Revit real quick and take a look at some projects that I have that are already open. Let's jump into a couple of these. All right. So when I go through these, I'm not sure which is whose or whose right now, but I just want to kind of take a look at them and kind of make some suggestions while I'm going through here. So this looks really nice. It looks really good. And there's still a lot of work to do on it, but it's coming along really well. I like the innovative use of the building and the change ups that you've made, and it looks really good. A couple of things on here. I noticed that the columns are here. They're full length columns and they go down -9 feet, which is smart if we were going to be doing a structural plan. We're not doing a structural one in this one. And especially in this model, it's not really needed to go down that far because if you're showing this to a client, it'll just look distracting. So what I would suggest is just bringing it back up to 0 level. It just looks less busy. Same thing with this one here. You got a few of them there. Okay, thinking. Click too fast and short-circuited it. Okay, and we're back. So to continue, that is one thing I would take a look at, is maybe just shortening those guys up, because if we're just showing these to a client, so he just gets really busy. And notice how slow everything is working on here. That's only because this model has gotten so big and it's so got so much stuff going on. So the more you've got going on in here, the slower it gets. And if this was on a realistic view instead of consistent color, it would be even slower. So just something to think about as you're progressing through here. So one thing I did notice on this one is the use of the land over here. I like how you do have the slope incorporated in here, but from certain views, and like from this view, it looks, you know, odd for it to be flying like that. So there's a way that we can fix that, and just kind of tweak a little bit for you, make a little bit more sense. And by doing that, we're just going to go to our site level, and we're just going to edit this space. So we'll click on it, edit boundary. Oops. Actually, no, it's not too that way. Let's go to masking and site tab. I'm clicking on the right part there. 3D. Edit surface. Okay, I'm not sure what I was clicking on before, but it wasn't giving me this panel is what I was looking for. This place point panel here. So now I'm going to place a point. And on this section right here, notice how this is the part that's sloped down. And I've got my elevation set to 0. I'm going to put an elevation point there and set that to 0. I'm just going to hit one check mark. I just do 1 point and see what happens when I do that. So notice when I just changed that 1 point to 0, how it lowered all that land and it kind of brought all that together. So it's not flying on that end. So let's do the same to the other side. And these are just small tweaks. Would you have gotten anything counted off for that? No. But the more you know, the better it looks. So let's do the same thing for this side. So I'm going to click on that, make it active, and hit edit surface. I'm going to go to a top-down view because it's just much cleaner that way. Here I've got a couple points here. So at this point, I'm going to place a point here at 0 and place a point here at 0. And let me hit my green check mark and let's take a look at our view and see what happened there. So you can see it just kind of makes it look like it's just not like a flying piece of land anymore. Probably didn't need all those points. As you notice, it did kind of change the shape of this, and you can edit that how you want to. But just by setting all those other points around the side to 0, it just lowers that. And it, from when you're looking at a view like this, or even when you render it, it's not going to look like anything that's just kind of flying out there in space. Rest of this is looking really good. I think whoever needs to do this, there still needs to be some interiors. So remember, when you're doing your interiors view, when you come down here in your floor plan, You're gonna go to level 1. See, on this one, you can delete this stuff here, and you can just go back with your tags, your drawing tags, and your room tags. So hit delete for that. And for architecture, I'll just go in with a room tag. I'll bring that room tag in right there. Now notice, this is interesting, and this is a really good catch for whoever this is this space is not necessarily a closed room. I'm not sure if you meant to do that. If you did, great. And that some of the information that we'll be doing a little later on will kind of define these spaces a little more, but this does look like it's open. So room 1 did kind of come all the way through this other space. So just something to look at. And I'll look a little bit closer at your drawing and see what we can find out about that. One thing I do want you to note is when it has a scale here, sometimes when you bring in some of your drawing tags, your window tags or room tags, they're going to look really large. Some of your text is going to look really large and out of scale. So remember, you can always just come back over here to your properties under your view scale, and you can correct that as well and then bring it more in line with what you're looking for. So really nice work on this one. Just a couple of tweaks and make sure that you're doing your interiors on level 1. To continue that, whenever you're putting in your furniture on level 1, you always want to duplicate level 1. Remember, you're going to highlight it, right click, go to duplicate view, duplicate. In this level 1 view, we're going to call this, we're going to rename it level 1 interiors. So all your interiors for level 1 will go in this room, in this floor plan. So interiors here in your regular floor plan. Here, we do not want any furniture to show in your regular level 1. So this is when you're going to go into visibility graphics using VV or VG as a shortcut. And then you're going to turn off the furniture and the furniture systems and anything else that may show up. I've noticed this on a couple of people's models so far that you've forgotten to duplicate this. And let's see if I can find one to correct that for you. All right, so yeah, looking good here. Keep progress going on. Let's jump to another one that I've got. So that's the same one. Okay. All right, this must be this one right here. Go to 3D. So this looks really nice. Site looks really good. I like the slope away from the building. Got the different levels on this site that we need, which is great. Let's turn on the color on here to consistent color, see what we're looking at. Yeah, that looks really good, especially from the outside. What I did catch on the inside is jump to level 1. Level 1, this looks cool. I like the way this is laid out. But what we're going to be having an issue with is when you go to lay out your create a sheet for your interiors and create a sheet for your regular floor plan, you're going to have some issues because you forgot to duplicate this level. So what we're going to do to correct that is at this point, we're going to duplicate it now. And with all the furniture already there, so we're going to right click, duplicate view, duplicate. Got the exact same view again. This is the one that I'm going to switch to and rename. There it is. Level 1 interiors. Now I'm going to go back to my regular level 1. And in this level 1, this is where I need to go back into visibility graphics and turn off all the furniture. So I have a regular level 1 to look at for me to put on my sheet. So I'm going to go to VV. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to turn off my furniture systems. I'm going to hit apply. So notice they start disappearing, start going into that hidden level. Here we have some lighting here. Lighting fixtures, apply. Those are turned off. And when we start laying these guys into sheets, that's where we're going to start turning off some of this other stuff for our floor plan. And let's go ahead and hit OK for that. So this is what you want your regular level 1 to look like. No furniture in there. This way, this is where you can put your room tags and your window tags and everything. So you can tag these. And yeah, let's actually do that right now. So we'll do one room right here. So we've got our room 1. I'm going to change the scale a little bit just to make it look a little better. I just like that extra space on there. So let's jump to level 1 interiors. Notice how I tagged that other room, but it did not show up in our level 1 interiors. So this is a good level 1 interiors. All your tags and stuff will be in regular level 1. Let's throw in a couple more. We'll go to annotate tab, tag by category. We'll just throw in a couple of tags here. Notice when I dropped into here, this window is inside out. I know that the way it looks, and then also I dropped my tag in there and it's backwards. So like this one is in the correct area. So it's another way to catch some of your windows that are inside out is just by putting your tags on, making sure your tags are facing the right way. So let's drop a couple of those in there like that. And then we'll jump back to level 1 interiors. And notice we have a different layout here, and those do not transfer into our level 1 interiors. Let's see if there's anything else anybody had. All right, site's looking good. I think there's just still a lot of work that needs to be done on this one. Remember to incorporate an entrance into this one. Remember when we got our original plans, there was no entrance included. So you had to decide where you're going to put an entrance. Lots of people just put it here, but do think about that of how are you going to incorporate an entrance into your building. So this does need an entrance still. So I'll go ahead and conclude that here. So we just did tags today, rooms and room separators, room schedules, pretty easy stuff, but stuff that's important to get on there and make sure it's laid out nicely and easy to read. If anybody has any questions about anything, text me and we can get on a call and get it straightened out for you. Otherwise, I'll see you in class on Wednesday. Have a great one. And sorry, I had the pre-record class. Take care. Bye.